I've been creating videos for about 8 years now, and the one part I never get tired of is color grading. I'm not a professional colorist. Everything I know comes from YouTube tutorials and a lot of trial and error, but I've always loved chasing that nostalgic film look. Now, color grading can feel like a rabbit hole, but with the right tools, it doesn't have to be. One plugin that caught my attention recently is Dehancer. They reached out to me for an honest review, no script, no requirements. In this video, I'll share my first impressions and walk you through how it fits into my workflow. Hello, Kamusta, Maing adlaw, buenos dias. My name is Brave and welcome to my channel. I'm a full-time video editor here in Cebu, and I also do freelance photo and video work. Here, I share my love for photo, video, gears, tutorials, and cinematic shots. If that sounds like your vibe, go ahead and subscribe. I've got a lot more coming. What is Dehancer? Dehancer is a film emulation or analog look plugin for video and photo. It tries to reproduce effects like grain, film prints, halation, bloom, and more. So digital footage gets that more cinematic or filmic vibe. It offers several tiers or versions. Pro version has more tools, film damage, print films, tool profiles, etc. Lite version has more essential tools. Installing and setting up Dehancer is really easy. They provide PDF manuals for different operating systems, and all you need to do is follow the instructions. After setting up, you may now go to DaVinci Resolve, and in color page, we're going to use this clip here and add 3 nodes. The number of nodes will vary in different factors, which I will explain later, but for now, we will use 3. Select the last node and go to Effects. Look for Dehancer plugin, drag and drop it onto the node. You can add a label, right-clicking the node and select Node Label. Once you drop the plugin in the node, you will notice a change in your footage's color, and this is because there are effects in the plugin that are automatically enabled. But don't worry, you can still change that later. So these are the drop downs, and I'm going to walk you through each one I explored and what they do. I will only focus on the drop downs that I'm really using and give a short description for the rest. So the first drop down that we have here is input. So as you can see, you have the source, and you can select different sources depending on look or which type you wanted to be your source. So for this footage, I've used a Sony camera. So instead of using Rec 709, we're going to use Choose Camera. And then for vendor, we go to Sony. And then after Sony, I use the A6700. And A6700, we use S-Log3 S-Gamma3 Cine. There you go. So far, this has been our look. You also have certain parameters under input, but I'm not going to change any of this for now because that's where these 2 nodes are for, which I will be discussing later. So after input, we go to film. In film, we have the profile Kodak Vision 3250D. So these are the different film looks that you can choose from. And if you have time or if you wanted to explore, you definitely have a ton of options to explore too. But based on the YouTube tutorials and based on the things that I like, I will be using the Kodak Portra 800. So that's for film. We're going to skip this 3 here, film developer, film compression, and expand. We'll go back to that later on. Next is the print. So for print, we have profile here as linear for now, but we actually have 5 or 4 other options. You have Cineon Film Log, if that's the look that you want. Fujifilm 3513 print film, a bit cool. That's also nice. We have Kodak 2383 print film, and we have the Kodak Endura glossy paper. So among the 5 here, I like the effect that this profile is giving. This is the Fujifilm 3513 print film, but sometimes I also like to go with the Kodak 2383. Yeah, I think I'll go with the Kodak 2383 print film. Under profile, you also have these parameters here, the target white, exposure compensation, tonal contrast, the color density, and saturation. So far, I like the color, but I'd like to adjust the exposure a bit. Okay, something like that. And the color, I want the red to pop a bit. There you go. What I'm trying to do here is adjust it, very subtle, because there are other adjustments that I will be doing later on. So that's for print. Next, you have the color head. So this is more of adjusting the mood of your footage. So let's try to enable this. So we have yellow, blue, magenta, green, cyan, red. So if we go to blue, it will make the footage colder. If you go to yellow, or it's going to become warmer. Put it back. For green and for magenta, for red and for cyan. For now, we're going to leave it as it is. For shadows, there you go. If you add the shadows, you'll make it warmer or colder. For midtones, there you go. And for highlights tone, you have that effect as well. But for now, we're going to disable this. Next, by default, you have film grain. It's set to 35mm ISO 250. And you have other options here as well. If we're going to set it to the lower millimeter, so 8mm. But if we're going to choose 35mm ISO 250, I think that's just subtle. That's without the grain. This is with the grain. So if we set it to 65, it's even more subtle. You even have the amount adjustment here. For me, I'm already happy with the 35mm to 50. Okay, perhaps I'll adjust this to half. So around maybe 17. Next is halation. They give this halo effect around the bright lights and specular highlights. It adds that, film emulsion glow or red halo in bright areas. So try to look at the light on this part. Disabled, enabled. Okay. Very subtle. I'll just stick with the Super 35 under 35mm. And next is we have bloom. So bloom, this adds softness or glow around highlights, simulating optical bloom from film and lenses. If you have the mist filter on your lens while recording this footage or while recording any footage, you may achieve the bloom effect already. But if you don't, then this is your savior. There you go. If you notice the highlights or the whites, they become soft. Setting or the profile is set to 35 Super 35. If we choose 8, okay, there you go. It becomes a bit brighter. Adjustments here for amplify. You have these options here. But I like the subtlety of this 35 Super 35. There you go. I like that already. Again, that's film grain, halation, and bloom. I'm very particular with this 3 because from what I've read, this 3 must be used in a subtle way. They should not be overpowering your video, or they should not be too much. That's it. It should not be applied too much in your video, as this might just ruin your footage. But again, at the end of the day, it's your footage. Add whatever you like, but you may want to adjust this little by little as you go ahead. So that's film grain, halation, and bloom. Next, we have film damage. So if you're going to enable this, and let me play the video. Okay, if you notice, there are scratches on the video, so very nostalgic. If you like that, you can enable it. If you don't, disable it. Next is film breath. This gives like a realistic shake. Next is gate weave. This is like giving a flickering effect to your videos. Very subtle. Let's try to set it to 8. Let's see. There you go. I don't use gate weave, so I will just disable this. Next, we have overscan. As you can see, if I enable this, it will give you like this analog borders to your videos. You also have the different gate type that you can use. Super 8, you have Super 16mm. You have gate shape, neat sharp. You have neat rounded. You have off. Perforation mode, positive, off. You have vertical, you have horizontal. Maybe this is for horizontal or vertical footages. We have vignette. They add this subtle dark effect on corners. You also have exposure here. You have the size. You have feather. You also have the aspect ratio. Next, you have the monitor. You also have the output. If you adjust this, it will lessen the effect of, the drop downs that you have enabled. If you want to generate this as a lot, and maybe you want to share this look or lot to your friends who also do color grading, maybe in Premiere Pro, then they can use this lot. And you also have this last drop down here under options. I usually use normal fast. I haven't tried high slow, but normal fast is giving me, the best quality so far. So I just set it to normal fast. So when it renders as usual and gives me the quality that I need. So for film developer, you have this parameters here, the contrast boost, gamma correction, color boost. So if I enable this, you definitely get to adjust the contrast of the footage. Gamma correction, I don't usually use this. Color separation, that's just it. Color boost, I don't usually adjust the saturation on this part. So I just leave it as like this. For film compression, this is where your highlights can be saved if you have like overexposed parts of your footage. So if I enable this, if you notice, this bright part here, the shirt, the shirt of this guy, it's a bit overexposed. Or if you feel like this is overexposed, then if you enable this, it softens the highlight, saves the detail. That's for film compression. You can still adjust that. For expand, it's already enabled. So for black point, if you adjust this, you're like adding more emphasis to the blacks. And for white point, same. So to the whites or highlights. There you go. I like it to be just as it is for now. So that's it so far for the drop downs. As you can see, there are a lot of drop downs so far, but they are not that so hard to understand, and you will definitely find the style that you wanted in this, just one plugin. Previously, before I was given a chance to use Dehancer, I have a different, color grading workflow, and I use different nodes. For this type of color grading wherein I use Dehancer, I usually add 2 to 3 nodes. So I just added a third node here. Let me label this first. The first node is where I adjust the exposure. Second node is the white balance. And the third node is where I also adjust the saturation or HSV. So for exposure, this is where I adjust the lift, gamma, and gain my footage. And I usually just check the waveform so that I'm making sure that I'm not clipping anything. So I'm going to adjust the gain, or maybe leave it as it is. It's quite good for now. Okay, adjust the lift, okay, a bit. And then for gamma, we put it like this. Okay, I think that's good for now. Next, I go to white balance. I usually set the gamma to linear, and after doing that, I'm going to use gain to set the white balance of my footage. Usually, I go for warmer look. So that's why I adjust it towards the orange or yellow part. All right. So that's before and after. Now for HSV or saturation, I set the color space to HSV, and then I go to channels. I disable channel 1 and channel 3. So in that way, we're making sure that we're only giving focus on saturation. And for this, I use gain as well to adjust the saturation. There you go. Very subtle. And the last one that I'm also going to add here is curves, and set or enable the editable splines, doing it subtle. Okay, like that. For the blacks, pull it down, and but I think that's too much as well. There you go. Putting it up. Okay. Adjusting it a bit more. Okay. There we go. All right. So that's it. So far, I like the color already. That's for curves. So these are the usual nodes that I'm using before I add Dehancer. Dehancer is the last node that I'm putting in my node tree. Of course, these parameters, these adjustments, they can be done in Dehancer, but again, personal preference, I'm doing it outside Dehancer. So if we're going to go back, okay, this is our footage before any adjustments. This is Dehancer. This is exposure, white balance, saturation, and then curves. So that's my quick walkthrough and my color grading workflow that I'm doing in DaVinci Resolve. So what I like about the Dehancer plugin is One, it's an all-in-one plugin. So let's say you're a beginner, you love taking videos, you have access to color grading applications like Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, and so on. And if you don't have time to color grade, Dehancer is your savior. It's not that hard to learn. You have those drop downs that you can easily enable and disable, and the access to those profiles is really fast. You will see the results right away, so it's not that hard to navigate. Once you understand the basic workflow of how color grading works on footages, you'll definitely understand or appreciate more Dehancer. So what can be improved in a Dehancer plugin? I wish that no effects are enabled whenever we drag and drop the Dehancer plugin on the node to avoid any odd impression as to how it works in different footages. So, should you try Dehancer? If you want fast access to film-like looks, Dehancer is definitely the go-to plugin. You don't have to be a pro, and you can get good results early on. If your work demands precision and you're already comfortable in DaVinci Resolve, you already have your own workflow, then Dehancer is an additional tool for you to add spice to your color grading. Also, just a reminder, film look doesn't fix everything. So those are my first impressions of using Dehancer. Overall, Dehancer feels powerful, it's easy to use, and its tools are fun to play with. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when I do more tutorials. Thanks for watching and happy color grading.